Okay, everybody, welcome once again to a live stream that's very on the spot. Didn't plan for this, didn't exactly know it was coming. Not surprised at this point by anything, but you've had Chris Bassitt traded on a Saturday, you had Matt Olson traded on a Monday, and now Matt Chapman here on a Wednesday morning traded to the Toronto Blue Jays. Every other day for the last 5 days, we've had a major cornerstone piece of the Oakland A's traded away. And again, at this point, the surprise factor is not a big player being traded away. I mean, you kind of go back to the root of all this. How about Bob Melvin's departure in, was that late October, early November? I'm trying to place the exact date. But yeah, the point is, I mean, that was kind of the initial indication that this type of overhaul was going to take place. And it was rumored all throughout the winter with the lockout, and which started on December 1st. And, you know, some teams did minor moves up until then, but we kind of knew that the major unloading, the major transactions would happen as soon as the lockout was completed. Well, it was completed about a week ago, and ever since then, the Oakland A's look like a totally different team. And so I think at this point, it's really less about the surprise factor of Chapman being traded, and I'll talk about the whole rip off the Band-Aid effect in just a second. It's more about looking at the A's of 2022, 3, and 4. Now, there is a whole different aspect to think about regarding the future and how this all could align. I do want to remind everybody of that. But of course, the initial indication is, who's your first baseman this year? Who's your third baseman this year? Who's your 3-hitter? Who's your 4-hitter? Who are your team leaders in the clubhouse? What's the theme of this spring? What's the theme of this season? What's Mark Kotsay going to do in all of this? What can the A's salvage here through a season? I mean, let's be perfectly honest. Every player wants to win. Every player is prideful. Every player is never going to cut a corner. But when a team is ultimately shorthanded immediately like this, I mean, you know, I would say it's unprecedented, but the A's have done this before. Other teams have done this before. It's not the first time, but it's obviously an unfortunate time right now for this actual baseball team. Now, you know, I go to the reaction of Matt Chapman in just a second. I also can show you what they're getting back in return. So let's do two things here. Let me cue this up. So this is Matt Kawahara of the San Francisco Chronicle tweeting this video reaction from a little over an hour ago. Let's hear what Chappie's initial thoughts are.
Definitely a crazy morning, but I couldn't be, more excited to start a new chapter in my career and go be a part of an amazing organization that I've heard nothing but great things about, and a team that, playing against, I know how talented they are. And
you know what? Are you able to hear this okay? I feel like it might be a little bit low. Let me just do this on the fly for you. Let me pump up the audio just a little bit here, make sure everything is where it should be. Yep, that's literally how this live stream is going. I'm engineering it on the fly. All right, Chappies, try that again, Chappie.
Definitely a crazy morning, but I couldn't be, more excited to start a new chapter in my career and go be a part of an amazing organization that I've heard nothing but great things about, and a team that, playing against, I know how talented they are, and, it's not a team, it's a team that's ready to compete now, and they're ready to win and go for it. So I couldn't be, happier to go join that. And also, it's emotional because I'm gonna leave an organization that, gave me an opportunity that I met a lot of my best friends at, and I've had so many great memories. So it's sad to leave, but it's happy to go somewhere where it's going to be an incredible opportunity. So a lot of emotions, but I think it's going to be an amazing next couple of years.
And credit to, again, Matt Kawahara, who is at spring training right now. By the way, I'll be there later today. What an interesting time to land at Oakland A's headquarters in Mesa. You have Chapman gone, Bassitt gone, Olson gone. I think you could see it right here. There is a bit of relief. Again, it's not that Matt Chapman desired for any of this, not just his trade, but it's not like he's sitting here hoping that all of this happened. I think this group really liked itself and each other. The Olsons, the Chapmans, the Bassitts, the Chad Penders. I'm just kind of going through a group of Manaeas, all players that all kind of came up together. They enjoyed this ride, and I'm telling you, the bonds that he has with some of these now former teammates, they'll last forever. I mean, this was a life chapter for Matt Chapman. Unfortunately, this is how it ends here today. I'll play that one more time in just a second. Let's go back to what they acquired. And it's kind of formulaic almost. From Toronto, right-handed pitcher Gunnar Hoagland, infielder Kevin Smith, left-handed pitchers Zach, and I hope I'm laughing at this in 5 years when I'm like, you didn't know Zach Logue's name? Or Kirby Sneed's name? That's a little bit more easier to pronounce. But 4 players for Matt Chapman. And I haven't done the exact research on where they rank internally in Toronto's pipeline, but you kind of understand the theme here is that the A's once again got a haul for a single player in return. And no surprise, I said there were 2 ways about this. Number one, if you're the A's, be patient, right? Because you have these commodities in Olson and Chapman and Bassitt, and I mean, the other names, Montas and Manaea, and there are some others too, which I just can't go down the entire list, Laureano. There are some players that, are commodities other teams are desperately wanting to get. So why rush? Why not wait for the absolute best deal that you think you can make? But I'm also here to say that there is an aspect of kind of relief of what you saw in Matt Chapman's face. And I did this yesterday. I'll do it again today. Oh, that's why the volume wasn't all the way up. I'll play this like on mute, right? I mean, watch as he already answered, but watch as he's talking here. Like there's a little bit of life. See what I'm saying? See how there's a little bit of life in his body language there. And that's kind of the relief factor of not that this chapter is ending, but that at least he was kind of in the middle, right? All winter, you would have had to have imagined that when he first heard that Bob Melvin was gone and that the team was probably going to reload and he's probably going to go somewhere new, and all he's thought about and wondered about is where, when, how, with who, for what. Like there have been so many questions for months on his mind. And so at this point, at least I think, and some of the maybe delight that you're seeing is also, that he's going to a team that will contend, that will, hopefully is a now team. He's not going to a team that's on the ups, or is just trying to come off a championship and trying to figure it out again. I mean, Toronto is here and now. So he's excited about that. Now, will he get the similar treatment as Matt Olson, who the day after joining his new team signed an 8-year deal with him? I don't know, but I mean, all that stuff you would think is in consideration. And for Matt Chapman, maybe something like that does exist. Maybe tomorrow, he'll probably arrive in Toronto today. It'll be late. But maybe tomorrow when he is announced and introduced, perhaps they also hand out an 8-year contract to Matt Chapman. He and Matt Olson obviously have proven themselves. There's no question about it. It's crazy too. I'm just thinking about this. The first time I ever met Chappie, he was with the Nashville Sounds of AAA. They were at Sacramento, and I remember interviewing him at Rayleigh Field in Sacramento when they came out west, and you just kind of knew that he was going to make it. And over the years, very kind, great leader, a guy who just got the Oakland A's. And I've said this before, he was kind of like Bob Melvin's son. Truly. Bob would hit him the hardest grounders possible during infield practice to try and get one past Chappie. And then Chappie would work so hard to make sure that none got past Chappie. He's a great player. He's a great person. Got to meet his parents on a few occasions. Wonderful people. So, I mean, I'll repeat myself. Hey, New York, you're getting a great player in Chris Bassitt. Hey, Atlanta, you're getting a tremendous person and player, and they're all great people and players, in Matt Olson. And guess what, Toronto? You're getting basically the same deal here with Matt Chapman. Let's re-rack this and play it one more time for you.
Definitely a crazy morning, but I couldn't be more excited to to start a new chapter in my career and go be a part of an amazing organization that I've heard nothing but great things about, and a team that, you know, playing against, I know how talented they are, and, you know, it's not a team, it's a team that's ready to compete now, and they're ready to win and go for it. So I couldn't be, you know, happier to go join that. And
you know what, though? I think there is going to be one problem with this trade. I'm just realizing. That mustache right there, Chappie, come on. Is that going to fly in Toronto? Is when you cross the border, is customs going to be like, you got to shave that thing off, buddy. What are you doing right there? I'll miss you, buddy. I really will.
Also, you know, it's
look at that thing,
because I'm going to leave an organization that, you know, gave me an opportunity that I met a lot of my best friends at, and, you know, I've had so many great memories.
And that's, I'm telling you, that's, you know, small consolation to A's fans. I know you're more focused and concerned with his departure than anything else, but just that right there, it tells you what is capable of the Oakland A's. And as this next group comes in, as these players come in from the Chapman deal, as these players come in from the Matt Olson deal, I mean, look at these, look at these two tweets back to back. I mean, we just traded away Matt Olson, traded away Matt Chapman. Those are the two tweets back to back. I mean, that's a lot, right? But 8 players here. 8 players that you're hoping. I mean, that's literally, it's almost a full, I mean, I realize some of them are pitchers, but I mean, that's like almost fielding an entire team right there. 8 players. And that's not even to mention, is the Bassitt info on here somewhere too? Yeah, right here. So JT Ginn, excuse me, and Adam Oller from the New York Mets. And again, I hope I'm pronouncing all of this right. This is kind of the gift and the curse, is that now we are set to learn who these individuals are. We're going to spend a lot of time on this in our coverage this year of following these players specifically, who they are, where they're at, getting to know them before they hopefully make a huge impact for the Oakland A's. So yeah. Just to recap, any of this surprising? No, not at all. I mean, I think this is one of those situations where, like I said, predicting this in retrospect was easy to do. All the indications were there, and the fact that the A's are following through, this is a clean cut, if you know what I mean. I mean, it's. I joked the other day about the Bassitt deal and the Sheryl Crow song, "First Cut is the Deepest." Yeah, I mean, that was like, whoa, slap in the face. And then Olson happens. And I'm not here to diminish the trade of Matt Chapman and say, oh, no big deal. This is, you know, but I also understand there is a certain numbness, right? There's a certain numbness with A's fans now because it's all going away. But at the same time, like I said, the Band-Aid effect. You'd rather get this done, if you're really going to do it right, do it in a timely fashion, and do it in concert with, in concert. All I can think about now is in sync. Do it in parallel with hopefully the new ballpark, right? And time this all out so that this all merges into the same place at the same time. That's what's most important. That's the consideration here. And for as much as I know a lot of people are not fond of hearing it, like, this is what the Oakland A's do. This is how they became that team of 17, well, really 18, 19, and 20, and half of 2021. And somebody had this the other day. I don't know where to find it. I should have looked this up before the live stream. Let me try and take one peek here to see if I can find it. Well, maybe it's actually easier to find than I thought. Let me just see if this is actually it. There is a stat I want to point out here. Okay, well, no, you know what? I can actually pretty easily find this. So this is pretty crazy. Everybody's, you know, here frustrated about the turnover of the Oakland A's and how many times have they done this. Well, they've done this 3 or 4 times since the turn of the century. But I mean, here are MLB team records since 2000. So 21 years of Major League Baseball. Of all the teams I mean, look at the records here. We go. The Kansas City Royals have been the worst since 2000. Baltimore's down there, Pittsburgh, and it's crazy. Detroit has struggled, but Detroit has hammered the A's in the playoffs. They've gotten to World Series, but there they are down there. They've made the playoffs 5 times, and so it's got a bunch of different columns here. The record, winning percentage, how many times they've made the playoffs, World Series. I think World Series wins and title. Oh, playoff series wins. Sorry, and titles. So my point is here, look at the Oakland A's. 6th best record in all of baseball since 2000. And they've been to the playoffs 11 times in 21 years. And I know this is the number that just kind of hurts. 2 playoff series wins. That's the rough one. And every other team up here, look, every other team in the top 8 has won a World Series. They haven't. But the point is, if you're saying, well, that, the A's are not relevant, the A's always struggle. I mean, it's crazy that they've recycled, they have regenerated this many times, like hardcore, full stop. They've done it this many times, and here they are, 6th best record in baseball since 2000. And I know some of you think, well, I'm trying to justify all this. No, I'm just adding this to the conversation. I don't think anybody fancies the task of unloading a group that you really enjoyed putting together. This is the example of you lived in a house and you loved the place, loved the neighborhood, loved the house. You did some custom work to it. It became your house. And then one day you realized it's time to sell. You love that house. You had great memories there and you could have stayed there forever. And in 5 years, you may be much better off. I don't know. Or you may be in a similar situation. Again, I'll leave the example right there. But there is this to consider about the Oakland A's. I mean, and for A's fans who are going to hear it from their Giants counterparts, I mean, the A's literally have a better winning. They've won a lot more games since 2000. They've won more games since 2000. And they've been to the playoffs more times. Now, series wins, World Series wins are a totally different story. And I understand that. But I'm just saying, if the A's were down here, right, that'd be a conversation. If this method didn't work, I think what this proves and points out and illustrates is that their method, while kind of unfortunate and frustrating, it has been lucrative since 2000. So I guess I'm glad I found that. Hopefully, some of that just adds to the conversation. I will give you Chappie one more time for those of you just tuning in. I know this live stream typically ramps up in its audience, but I'll give you what Chappie said a little more than an hour ago from Mesa. Gosh, I recognize, I know exactly where that brick wall is. I know the hallway. Actually, if you walk kind of down the hallway, right around Chappie's left shoulder in that corner, it goes right to Mark Kotze's office. This is right outside the A's clubhouse in Mesa. Let's hear what he said.
Definitely.
By the way, this is from Matt Kawahara of the San Francisco Chronicle. Credit to him for being down there and providing us with this video.
Definitely a crazy morning, but I couldn't be, more excited to start a new chapter in my career and go be a part of an amazing organization that I've heard nothing but great things about, and a team that, playing against, I know how talented they are, and it's not a team. It's a team that's ready to compete now, and they're ready to win and go for it. So I couldn't be, happier to go join that. And also, it's emotional because I'm going to leave an organization that, gave me an opportunity that I met a lot of my best friends at, and, I've had so many great memories. So it's sad to leave, but it's happy to go somewhere where it's going to be an incredible opportunity. So a lot of emotions, but I think it's going to be an amazing next couple of years.
Do you think?
Well, Canada, you're getting platinum. Enjoy it, and in a way, he's in the AL East. Matt Olson's in the NL East. Chris Bassitt's in the NL East. At least these players are all in a different time zone on the other side of the country, and they will not immediately be playing Oakland 18 or 19 times this season, right? So at least there is that. I appreciate everybody for being here this morning. I understand again that this is these are frustrating times. It complicates, it adds to it, it multiplies, it snowballs. I really get it, but I'm here for you. And take a look around right now. Just remember these moments, and remember the moments of 13? Was it the day after Thanksgiving 13? When Josh Donaldson was traded. Haven't we already done this before? Hasn't Toronto already got an Oakland third baseman? And didn't they get a shortstop too? They turned him into a second baseman. But the point being is that take a look around, understand this. Yeah, it should sting. It should. But also remember the bigger picture of where we're at. The stadium, been here before. I'm not trying to make this... I'm not trying to sell this to you at all. I'm just saying that it's not new. So we'll be chatting. The next time I see you probably will be from spring training in Arizona. Until then, have a good day. Be safe, everybody.